How to disassemble and reassemble an AR-15 rifle bolt carrier group. So let's get right into it. Already got it out of your gun. So the first thing is to get this cotter pin out. So that comes out pretty easily. You could even get it out probably with a knife tip or your fingernail even. Once that's out, your firing pin just drops out. Next thing is we want to get the bolt out of the carrier. So to do that, take the cam pin, turn it 90 degrees, and this too will pull right out. This is all real easy to do. And then your bolt comes right out. Not everyone does this, but if you really want to clean this up good, you want to get the extractor out as well. So there's a pin here, and that's very easy to push out. So you want to put pressure right here. There's a spring under there. Put a little pressure. You can actually use the firing pin. Put a little pressure and just push that pin. Comes right out. And be careful here. You're definitely going to have a spring here. You might have a rubber washer around that as well, which helps with extraction. So make sure anything you have here, you keep track of that. Okay, now to put the extractor back into the bolt, get your extractor, make sure the spring is on here, and place it on the bolt like so. You can press down on this part here to line up so you can see all the way through that hole. Take your pin and it'll just push right on in there. Nice and easy. The next thing we want to check before we put the bolt back into the bolt carrier is on this gas ring right here. So there are 3 pieces to this gas ring, and they move around. So we want to make sure that these gaps, there's a gap in each of the 3. There's a gap there, and there's a gap on the middle one. So just make sure those gaps are far apart from each other. Otherwise, you'll have this kind of acts as a washer. So if those gaps are lined up, you're going to have a spot where gas pressure can get through and it's not going to perform as it should. So once you check that, next thing we want to do is just put a little bit of oil, just a little oil around that area, and some oil on the entire. That was probably a little too much. Not too much. Just want to get a light coating on there. All right, and then the next thing you'll notice, your pivot lug is only going to go through on one side. It doesn't go through the other side, which is good because that prevents you from putting this together the wrong way. So what we want to do is put this in this way. I have to give it a little press and line up the hole in the bolt with this hole here. You want to line it up just right so that this cam pin will just drop in there like that. If it doesn't drop in, you just have to jiggle this around a little bit. And once it's in there, just turn that 90 degrees, just like that. And now you're good. Next thing we're going to do is drop in the firing pin. Go right down in here. Like that. Jiggle it around. It'll fall in. Give it a push. Make sure it's in all the way. Should be kind of flush like that. And then finally take the cotter pin, press it in there, and now you're good to go. And when you go to put this back into the gun, you are going to want to pull this out. And now you are ready to put it back in the gun.